It took me a nice little minute to try to decide which way and how I was going to make this NBA 2K22 Kevin Durant build. I had some inspiration from my man Joe Knows from last year in NBA 2K21. He made a Kevin Durant build when he had Legend, and that build was actually nice. Even though in that game, it was a little more restricted when it comes to shooting, now it's mostly possible to use that build on a consistent basis. I want to say this build will be a competitive build that you use all the time, but it will be maybe a fun build that you want to try. But one thing I wanted to put into this, I was going to end up trying this build on current gen, but also I wanted to also try this build on next gen. So in next gen, I want y'all boys at the end of the video or the part for next gen, I want y'all to help me decide which build should I make for next gen. Is I'm going to make the 6'7", the 6'8", the 6'9", or even the 6'10". As of most of the time you see people create the Kevin Durant build on NBA 2K, you will see most of the time they're going to make it 6'7" or barely to the 6'8" mark, but I can maybe make it better on next gen where I will make it on current gen. But as today, we're going to be making this Kevin Durant build. A shooting guard is staying a power forward and small forward as you usually see, just for the extra badge upgrades and what you will get as making it a shooting guard compared to a small forward and power forward. But that's the pie chart that we're going to be using. We're going to use the half and half green and blue pie chart. You guys might remember this pie chart from my slasher build I had last year, from the John Morant videos, from the Devin Booker videos. Those videos like that, y'all might remember this pie chart. So look, if you guys want to see that pie chart in the near future, make sure you drop a like on this video. But most of the time you see a Kevin Durant build, you're going to see a pure stretch, you're going to see a stretch playmaker, you're going to see some things of that sort of being a Kevin Durant type build on this game. Most times you might see a mid-range facilitator here and there, but when it comes to current gen, most of the time people have Kevin Durant builds, it's going to be a stretch playmaker or a stretch big. But how the game is played now and how the game works now, we don't have to have just high shooting just to make a Kevin Durant build. Because most of us all know that Kevin Durant is 6'10" or 6'9", between one of them heights. He's literally a 7-footer, but this man is 6'10" or 6'9", but with current gen and how the build system works, making a 6'9" build to try to shoot, dribble, and dunk is going to be a hard task to do. That's why most of the time you see people make 6'8" or 6'7" Kevin Durant builds. So I can understand why some people in the comment section be like, oh, Kevin Durant is 6'10", he's 6'9". I'm not going to be making this build because you can't just throw a 6'7" and say it's a Kevin Durant build, but how the game works, you can't fully get the same height that you want to make the actually work how you want it to work. So as of next gen, you can make it work how you want. But as of current gen, we're going to end up using the speed pie chart for this build. Since you're going to be a shooting guard, you're going to get a crazy amount of speed. As right now, I'm going to upgrade the finishing. I'm going to get 13 finishing badges. If you're going to do this on a whole different build, it was going to stop you on literally 11 if you would have made it a small forward or power forward. So as me being a shooting guard, I can get 13 finishing badges without having to use extra badge points just to use for my shooting and my playmaking. But when it comes to the shooting part, most of you guys might think, if I don't do it this way, I can do it a better way. Because look, as I'm maxing out everything else, once you see me get to the mid-range, I will not max it out. One reason being is me maxing out my wingspan by a few more attributes. It's a waste of attributes that I can use on something else to get another badge point, especially for playmaking or even finishing. But for finishing, I'm going to end up getting 13. I'm going to max out my ball control and I'm going to max out my pass accuracy and put a little up on the post control on this build. As I have 13, the only thing this build really lacks is going to be the defensive part because it's a half blue and half green. And if you even make it a more green, less blue, or more blue, less green, you're still going to lack on defense. But we're still going to get an amount to get 6 defensive badges. As us getting 6 defensive badges, this is actually a nice build. 13, 22, 13, and 6. But if you're someone that does not want that many shooting badges and you can shoot with 17 or maybe 19 shooting badges, the main thing you can do is end up lowering your post fade on this build just by a slight to get 19 shooting badges. And with those extra badge points that you see, you can end up getting an extra playmaking badge or an extra finishing badge, whatever is you're choosing. I would mostly go with the extra playmaking badge on this build because 13 is barely just enough to get the job done, to be honest. 13 is barely enough. So with 14, it'll be just there just to get the job done, especially with a build that has gold playmaking. You're going to get the job done with 14 or 15, but with having 14, it'll make it way better. So if you don't need the 22 shooting or you don't want the 22 shooting, I prefer you to go with the 19 and go with 14 playmaking or 14 finishing, whatever you're choosing. But you can't get more defense unless you sacrifice your finishing or you sacrifice your playmaking. And that's the point of the build. We want to be able to shoot, dunk, and be able to dribble the ball at a decent rate. The defensive part is going to be there here and there, but as we make this body type solid, since Kevin Durant is a real skinny guy, it's the biggest decision you guys might make. Some of you guys want to make the realistic version of the Kevin Durant build on current gen. You might want to make him 6'9". You can if you want to, but just know you're not going to be able to dribble that well with a 60 ball control. But if you're someone that's just going to play that position of being able to just shoot the ball, play defense here and there, and then somewhat slash here and there, you can do that. But if you're going to end up making this build 6'8", you have a better chance than using a 6'9" on this game. 6'8" is somewhat there. You can be able to, it's more usable than a 6'9" Kevin Durant build. If you're someone that wants this 6'8" height with the 6'7" somewhat stats, you could do the metric system for this build. As me looking at the height, I was looking at around the 201. The 201 height is the best height between the 6'7" and the 6'8" for the metric system. So if you change your settings to the metric system, 2.01 meters is literally one of the best heights to use, because you will still have the ability to get a 70 ball control on this build, maybe at 97 or 98 overall on this build. But when it comes to the wingspan, this is going to dictate if you get contact dunks at 99 or if you get contact dunks in general. If you're someone that doesn't care for having the high enough contacts and you know you would just put slash and takeover on this build, you can do that. You can lower your wingspan just a little if you want to, but I would prefer you to make your wingspan somewhat close to max, but you don't lose as much playmaking, so you can be able to get a 70 ball control. So as I'm making my wingspan, I can make it max since I made this build 6'7", but if you're using the metric system, you'll go somewhat halfway to max on that build. So as I'm going to max wingspan this build, the takeovers I were given sharpshooter, playmaking, slasher, and lockdown. The only reason that you see lockdown takeover is because my mid-range is not maxed out. If you want shot creating takeover on this build, you might want to end up doing the max wingspan with the mid-range, and you will end up getting shot creating takeover with this build. But as I get the name facilitating finisher, I know it's not a pretty name. I know it's not a different type of name. This build having facilitating finisher, it's going to throw a lot of people off. If you're someone that's going to do a little lower arms and just for a Kevin Durant build and have a higher three-pointer in the long run, you could do that and put slash and takeover. I would rather have the contact abilities plus having slash and takeover or sharp takeover on this build and go crazy with it. But as we're on next gen and NBA 2K22, now this is one thing I'm going to have y'all help me with. Well, I have at least 3 different variations. I want to find a 6'9" build. I think the 6'9" or the 6'8" might be the best one for me, but I'm going to have a 6'7", 6'10" wingspan, or a 6'8", 7'4" wingspan, or a 6'10", maybe like 7'6" wingspan build on this game. It's up to you on next gen to decide which one is better, or 7'4". These wingspans are the ones I'm going to go with these builds. So in the comment section, I'm going to show you the actual stats of each build. I want you to let me know in the comment section which build should I go with for NBA 2K22 Kevin Durant build. Some of you guys, if you got a better Kevin Durant build for next gen, let me know. You can DM me on Instagram or DM me on Twitter or at me on Twitter. I end up replying to it. And look, just looking for the main 3 keys: being able to dunk the ball and get contacts, be able to shoot the ball decently at a decent rate, and then having a high enough playmaking to get actual dribble moves off. As I was looking at the 6'7", I can get contact dunks, I can shoot the ball decently, plus I have an 85 ball control, and I have enough defense on this build, and all my stats are looking real great: 17, 28, 26, and 24. But as I make a 6'8", I'm looking at it, every time I make the height taller, my ball control is going to go down. At the 6'8" mark, this is where I was actually liking, because at the 6'8", I have an 80 ball control. You don't need an 85, especially you being 6'7" or 6'8". It's not going to make a big difference. When you having an 85 with a 6'7", you might get maybe 2 extra dribble moves than I would get with an 80 ball control. But as I'm looking at it, 20, 25, 23, and 24 doesn't look so bad. But as I made a 6'10" build, the 6'10" build, I was actually looking for the finishing and more defensive part. But as me going to college on this build, I'm gonna end up getting maybe 4 playmaking badges or even 4 shooting badges on this build. Plus, I'm gonna get 2 extra badges for hitting level 39 in both of the seasons in NBA 2K22. So with having extra 6, I have 6 extra badges that I can choose from. Plus, you don't even have to choose based on your college, because this is a rebirth build. With this being a rebirth build, I don't have to play a college game to get the 4 badges in one cat. I can choose if I want 2 here, 1 here, and 1 here, or if I want all 4 at a certain place. But as I'm going to show you with this 7 with 6'10" wingspan with lowest weight, it's a name that you see very often. But with the takeovers, I've been seeing with the takeovers, you mostly get all shooting takeovers, plus you get lockdown takeover with this build. But the thing about it, it's the name. As they give me the name, playmaking shot critter on a 6'7", this is one of the 3 names that I got. The other name, as I made a 6'10", they gave me a 2-way mid-range scorer. And possibly you can get the name 2-way mid-range maestro on this build. But if any of you guys have a screenshot of a Kevin Durant build that you would want me to try out, send it to my Twitter or Instagram. It been your man ChaMoma. Make sure you drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm out, y'all.